Hello everybody. Okay, so today's video is going to be about narcissists who don't make sense. Now, have you ever had like an argument or something with your narcissist and they say something that doesn't make any sense and you kind of don't really know how to respond to it because it's off the wall, confusing, or like you think they're ridiculous? For an example with my mother, this was in 2012, I think. No, 2013 maybe. She was staying with me for a little bit until she, I guess, found a place. There was some type of argument. My roommate was there at the time. And I think it might have been about like paper towels. Like I had just put out a roll of paper towels and within a day they were all gone. And I was wanting to know what happened to them. Well, my roommate and my mother were pointing fingers at each other. My roommate at the time was saying, oh, she wads up like 6 to 8 pieces of paper towel just to wash one little spot off the counter. And then my mom was saying my roommate, instead of using toilet paper, she took paper towels into the bathroom and used those. I don't really know. All I know is I know my mother well enough to know that when she cleans, she uses way too many paper towels, because I had actually spoken to her about it. She cleaned off, I think, the island in the kitchen, and she just had a big wad of like 4 or 5 pieces of paper towel and used it. So I just nicely asked her not to use so many, and she flipped out about it. I guess there was like an argument, so finally things like calmed down a little bit and we're kind of ignoring each other. And then she goes to do something at the stove and I'm in the living room and I hear her say something to the effect of, I'm just the saddest person in the world. I'm just an innocent bystander. I think I may have mentioned this before in another video. Now, to me, it's just like, what did she just say? Like, what is she even talking about? How is she the saddest person in the world? And saying that she's just an innocent bystander, that doesn't make any sense. An innocent bystander is someone who, like, I don't know, if there's a shoot-off between cops and a bad guy and somehow one of them end up, I don't know, accidentally shooting someone that's just walking down the street. That's an innocent bystander. So, you know, if she's the culprit, she's not an innocent bystander. I don't know if it's partly because she's not very smart, or if she's just trying to say something in order for somebody to pity her. I don't know. It was very confusing. While this doesn't make sense, it also is part of, I guess, manipulation. With my ex, I think I may have mentioned this before, where he said he was working early in the morning until late at night, 7 days a week for 3 weeks straight, and then he would get 1 weekend off and then go back to doing the 3 weeks of work. And I said something, I'm like, oh, you're getting lots of overtime. He's like, no, I'm only getting 40 hours a week. Well, that doesn't make sense. How are you working like 12 or more hours a day, 7 days a week, and not getting any overtime? Yeah, that's a little bit ridiculous. So like I said, that was part not making sense and part trying to manipulate and lie to me. It had to do because he hasn't been paying the amount that he's supposed to for support. And I think he was just using that to make it sound like he wasn't making as much as he really is. And my next example is part not making sense, and partly having to do also with double standards. Now, for example, one person posts something online, and then the narcissist decides to comment and talk down to that person. And then, you know, there might be an argument about like, hey, you know, it's not nice for you to say that type of thing on my post. And then the narcissist will like make the argument of, well, you put it up there and we're friends, so I can comment what I want, free speech. If you don't like it, you can unfriend me. But yet when the narcissist posts something on Facebook and they get a comment that they don't like, they'll say something like, oh my God, how dare you say something on my page like that. But yet later on, they'll post something kind of controversial where they'll know that people will comment unfavorably. And then when no one comments, that the narcissist will make their own comment and say, oh my God, nobody's commenting. You know, like they'll try to call people out and say, nobody's commenting because I'm right. And it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that, you know, you're freaking insane and unstable and you have double standards. It's like you can mouth off to people on other posts, but yet when people try to point something else out on your post, well, the narcissist post, they freaking flip out. It's like they can't take any criticism, but they love to dish it out. And that's another thing about narcissists. They love to dish it out, but they cannot take it and they will not take it. And then they cry foul. A lot of times, I think that they try to not make sense on purpose to confuse you. Like if they're not making sense, you're kind of taken back and you gotta, I guess, process what they're saying. And then by that time, there's too many points in the arguments that you have to defend. And then it takes so long for you to defend that the narcissist has already decided to stop speaking to you, or they've already moved on to something else. You know, because when they argue about something, they'll make freaking 100 different points before you even have a chance to defend one point. And after a while, you're just so exhausted from correcting them that you throw up your hands and just want to be done with it. So basically, it's best just not to respond and let it go. I know that when a narcissist says something that's false, like saying that you stole something that you didn't, you want to defend yourself. But really, it's whether you defend yourself or not, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because they are going to have other people believe that you stole it, and there's no convincing a narcissist that they're wrong. So yeah, narcissists saying things that just don't make sense, completely off the wall. And some of them, like the stuff that they say, completely insane. I remember when I was younger and my mother would drink, she would, I think I mentioned this before too, about how when my brother was off in the Marines and he was only stationed somewhere, he wasn't deployed at the time, and she was crying about how, I don't know, she thought he was gonna die or something, and she took it out on me, and somehow it was my fault. I'm sitting there like maybe 8, 9, however old, really young, but yet somehow it's my fault, or it's, she's gonna take her anger, sadness, and whatever over her golden child, take it out on me, which sucks. And I think a lot of you experience the same thing where, they're upset about something, about their golden child. Like maybe that golden child is doing a dangerous job and they're afraid something's going to happen to that golden child. And they somehow want to find the tiniest little reason to somehow it's your fault if they die. Or if, get hurt. So anyway, if you have any stories about narcissists not making sense, go ahead and comment below. Have a good one, and take care.